Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's Fatimah, Coach Fatimah, back with another video. I'm here by myself. I don't have my co-wife with me or husband with me. Okay, guys, this is a really, what do I want to say? Like a much anticipated video about why I stayed with my husband and he practices polygyny. Now, I've gotten this question a lot. I mean, just over the past 10 years, this question has become a part of my life on a frequent basis, but not to the point where it's annoying. Like, I get it. I understand why people want to know why an initial wife or why I would personally stay with my husband and he practices polygyny. And I use that word personal because staying with a man that practices polygyny is a very personal decision. It's one of the most intimate decisions that I've had to make in my life. We've been in polygyny for 10 years, and when I say that, it's so unbelievable because I was the 20-year-old newly married woman that was like, I'm not dealing with it. It's cool if other men do it. It's great. I agree with it. I understand why it's something that is practiced. Allah, allows it. So I'm not going to be against it, but I didn't wish for it to be in my life. I was a very jealous 20-year-old because I'm going to tell you why. I was jealous because I was jealous for the men in my life prior to my husband, meaning my father and my grandfather. I would see them kind of flirt. I would see my dad exchange and overlap relationships with women. My brother is a little bit older than I am. We have different mothers because my dad overlapped those two initial relationships he had. My brother's mom was his first love, his first girlfriend. My mother, different woman, but just as much of a powerful love. I could say that because I remember them breaking up, and my father ended up in the hospital. My mother was very heartbroken, and they broke up finally when I was 3, and I was raised by my grandmother from 11 months on. So knowing those stories, and my grandfather, he was someone that had many women in his life. He had one wife, but he did practice cheating on my grandmother. It wasn't a secret. It was something that happened in the family. I don't know personally in my family any men that did not have more than one woman active in their lives. So it was something that was scary for me. There was a fear there. And it wasn't that I was thinking I never ever thought that my husband would cheat on me. My husband is a practicing Muslim. I would never be disrespectful and equate what he does as a Muslim to what my father, my grandfather, and the men and the uncles in my life did to degrade themselves. It's not that you can't compare it because comparing it is disrespectful to my culture, which is Islam. Now, back to what I was saying. But with that, however, there was jealousy there. I didn't want that word share in my life because of my past history with the men that I loved sharing their lives with other women. It was just that simple for me. I built my marriage in my mind on the guise of, or the guidelines of, this is something that he's not he might want it, but he won't act on it. In my honest moments. So I had to evaluate myself throughout the years, and I evolved throughout the years just as he did. So let's fast forward a little bit. 15 years in, my husband decided to practice polygyny, and I like for him to tell his truth, and he's told his own truth. So I don't want to take from it or add to that. It is what it is, meaning that the decision he made was his decision to make. Was it the best way to create that decision, or to practice his decision, or to fit his decision within our timeline or our lives? Maybe it wasn't the best way because I didn't know he was married for a while before I found out. And we've addressed this. This is not something that our family has run from. I used to run from it because, ignorance was bliss for me. It was blissful to not know what was going on, because if I didn't know what was going on, I didn't have to deal with it. It's that simple. Now that's for me. And I'm not saying that somebody else's way is wrong, but I'm telling you and being very transparent. This is a video that I've been trying to make for a long time, but it's just because I was so busy creating other content. But I really get it, why other women or initial wives or maybe even subsequent wives would find benefit from this video. Maybe some brothers or some men will find benefit from this video, but I'm here to tell my truth and no one else's. Now, with that, it did hurt me a great deal because I know how I operate, and I would not have not told him something of that magnitude, but I don't get to practice polygyny, nor would I want to practice polygyny or polygamy and have multiple husbands. That's not allowed in my culture. I don't like to say things like, if I wasn't Muslim, I would, or if I wasn't Muslim, I would. I'm Muslim. I don't need to go if I wasn't. But there's nothing in me. I have no desire to have multiple men in my life other than my sons and grandchildren that maybe I won't meet. Those are the multiple men I want in my life. I want my husband in my life and my sons and my bonus babies, which are, in total, we have 6. My husband has 6 sons. So for me, those are the men I want in my life on a consistent basis. That's what I want. Now, I'm speaking about Islamic polygyny. I had to 15 years in, I had to, reevaluate some things. After the shock and the blowback and after the dust had settled, I had to think about a couple things because I wanted to divorce him. He could have woke up in the morning and asked me for breakfast. And I was like, oh, nah, he working my nerves. Now he doing too much. Now he getting on my nerves. I need to leave this man. Because in the back of my mind, because he practiced polygyny. He asked for breakfast. He practices polygyny. He went outside. He practices polygyny. It all went back to that. It all went in every thought I had. It was like he practiced polygyny because for those of you that don't know me or don't know what happened when my husband started to practice polygyny, I had my children that were heartbroken. I had a daughter of mine that thought that meant we were divorced. And I'm thinking, I didn't do too good of a job explaining to this child that what polygyny means. It means there's not a divorce going on. There's an additional marriage going on. There's an expansion of marriage. And I remember thinking that and taking accountability for not educating my daughter. My older daughters knew that didn't mean divorce, but my, at the time, 9-year-old, who will be 20 soon, she did not know that. So I felt really bad. Her father didn't know any of this stuff. There was so much going on behind the scenes that he didn't know about. And in some way, I felt like I can't talk to him about this right now because there's so much other stuff he's trying to fix and mend. So my decision to stay with him relied heavily on the work that he was trying to do to fix everything and everyone and make everyone feel comfortable, make me feel comfortable, walking on eggshells. He was doing stuff behind the scenes and going through things that I had no idea about because I didn't care about those things. I cared about what was happening to me and my own children. And it was oftentimes I didn't care about what was really going on with him, but I knew enough to know, okay, I'm going to be accountable for putting too much weight on his shoulders. I'm going to be accountable for putting too much weight on my shoulders because I matter too. My children matter too. And polygyny was not just happening to me. I didn't want polygyny to break me. So I said, it's not going to break me, but I'm going to break it in. That means I wanted to get used to it. I wanted to feel better. And I had to say, okay, who has this man been for me for the past 15 years? Has he let me fall? Has he dropped the ball? That rhymed. Sometimes I be cracking myself up, y'all. But I digress. I really had to look at who he was as a man and who he had shown up to be in my life. Now, was it always happy-go-lucky times? No, because I'm a very powerful energy. He's a very powerful energy. And when two powerful, beautiful energies and souls want to be heard, you get this sometimes. And that's okay. As long as we can come back from it, we don't take it too far. We can agree to disagree. I don't know what it's been like for him to be a husband with two wives. I'll probably never know, but I try to understand his plight, and he tries to understand mine. So I had to think about who he was as a Muslim, who he was, what was his relationship like with Allah, what was his relationship like with me, what was his relationship like with himself, with our children. Did that mean because he married someone else, he was going to be a bad father, a bad husband, a bad Muslim? Did it mean that for that specific man? The man I'm talking about is my husband. Can't speak on nobody else's husband. I'm speaking on mine. I'm speaking on our husband. I like to say our husband because that's what it is now. But within my marriage, because my co-wife and I are not married to each other, I'm talking about the man I knew and still know to this day for 15 years, and I've been knowing him for 30. So sometimes I like to tell people, that want to come for me or come for my family, you can check my stats. I've been here. I'm going to be here. I plan on being here. Allahu Alam, I don't know the future. I don't know if my husband's going to be alive. I don't know if I'm going to be alive. I don't know why this happened, but I had to figure something out. I wanted to birth my own breakthrough. So I said, look, it's like my grandmother told me, you either going to stay with him or you not. It's that simple. But you can't have both, and you can't serve God and the devil. You can't. That's in all three major religions. We can't be on the devil's side and we can't be on God's side. We can't be on Allah's side and on Shaitan's side. We have to pick a side. The side I picked was the side that I wanted to be. I wanted my life to be healthy. I wanted my children's lives to be healthy. And there was no reason for me to divorce my husband because he got another wife. None. And I know people think, yes, it is. He got another wife. Are you kidding me? You know why? I say, are you kidding me? Because I won't be thinking about him and his other wife when I'm dying. I won't care about him and his other wife when I'm being judged by Allah. I won't care about my children in the hereafter. I'll be caring about me and my judgment. So I had to think about, okay, if I care about me and my judgment, I won't care about these people. How am I going to treat them when I'm here and I'm questioned about them? How will I treat them? Am I going to be good to my husband? I know I get on that man's nerves. I know that. He gets on mine. I get it. We're married. We're not perfect. We're married. We're two imperfect people that decided to stay married to each other and figure this thing out. Because I came from brokenness. I'm not going to facilitate brokenness in my family. If somebody else wants to do that, that's great. That's cool. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and be happy with what you see. I did my work. I'm still doing my work. My husband did his work. He's still doing his work. My co-wife did her work. She's still doing her work. We're students. We're coaches, yet we're students. We're still learning. So if I can benefit from who he is, and he can benefit from who I am, and our children can benefit from each other in our union, alhamdulillah, I'm doing my job right. If my children are happy, I'm doing my job right. If I'm happy, I'm doing my job right because I'm doing some work. I want to be here. Nobody's making me. I'm 45 years old. I'm too old to lie to any of y'all. I don't lie to people. I'm too old. I didn't lie to people when I was younger. But right now, the way I'm set up, I don't lie to people. This is my truth. And I know people won't like it. And I know they'll possibly come for me in the comments. I got time. Bring on whatever you got to say. That's fine. Because what's not going to happen is that I'm not going to allow my truth to be censored. I'm not going to allow my voice not to be heard. I'm not going to allow somebody to try to finesse or remix my story. My story is what it is. But what I'm not going to do is let polygyny break me because it's not set up to break me. I was liberated through Islam. So I didn't want to take Islam in fragments and fractions and pick and choose what I wanted so that it could fit my ego. I got a healthy ego. I got a bad ego. But it's about me checking the bad ego and elevating that good ego to where I help other people. This is not for likes. This is not for clicks. This is not for views. This is for the many sisters that have DM'd me, Facebook messaged me, talked to me in the street in my community, talked to me long distance calling me. People in Chicago, I'm traveling to see them and talk to them. I want to help bring people together. I don't want to push people away from each other. Because if you can handle polygyny, if you can do the work, if you can commit to your family, if you can commit to your personal health and wellness, you will benefit from it. You will find your happiness. But I want to tell the initial wives and co-wives this. We're human beings. We go in and out of happiness all day. You're not going to just get perfection from the men. You're not going to get perfection from your co-wife, and they won't get perfection from you. We're people. Because I'll tell you one thing, you're going to be dead longer than you will be alive. I have to live in my body every single day. Nobody's the expert on Fatimah like Fatimah is. They're not. So it would be disrespectful for me to think that I'm the expert on my husband, on my co-wife. They can tell their truths better than I can. I'm learning from them all the time. And I can sit and say that. And I don't have a problem with it. My self-esteem is not low.